Hello students, welcome to the new lecture, and in this lecture we are going to start with the epithelial tissue. Okay, so in the last class we have discussed about few tissues. Okay, so epithelial tissue and also connective tissue and so on. So we have discussed just about the overview. So now we are going to discuss about in detail, and remember one thing, if you have any doubts or any questions, post it in the live chat section so that I can read and I can answer to it. Okay, so everyone, good afternoon, and attendance will be taken on the link based. Okay, so I will paste the link in the live chat section, so before the class ends or in the middle of the class, so that click on the link and it will take you to the attendance form. Fill the attendance form and submit. Okay, after submitting, your attendance will be registered. If you have any doubts or feedbacks, you can enter over there. Okay, so now use this comment section to ask doubts or questions, that is live chat section. Okay, so epithelial tissue. So what is meant by epithelial tissue? In Greek, epi means outer, thelium means what? Thelium means tissue. It means these epithelial tissues are outer tissues. Okay, outermost tissues, and they are used for the protection. So what is meant by protection? So example, you can see the skin on your hand, the skin on your face and so on, and the skin on your body. So what the skin is doing? The skin, okay, the skin is nothing but epithelial tissue. It is going to protect you. Okay, it is going to protect. From what it is going to protect? It is protecting. So it is protecting from the bacteria. Okay, it is protecting from the bacteria. Next, it is protecting from the viruses. Okay, so next, dust, everything. So the epithelial tissue is present in the skin, and they are covering the body of animal. Animal is nothing but, so including human beings also comes under the animal. Okay, so these epithelial tissue are going to cover the body of animals. So, and they are going to protect inside and outside. So this is the main function of the epithelial tissue. So these epithelial cells are classified into many ways. Okay, many different types. So what is meant by classification? So classification means division. Okay, the classification means division. So these epithelial tissue are divided into many types. Okay, so they are, first one is a squamous epithelium. Okay, next one is stratified squamous epithelium. Next is cuboidal epithelium, glandular epithelium, columnar epithelium, modified epithelial tissue. So these are the different types of epithelial tissue. Okay, so that we are going to discuss here. So here is a diagram of the epithelial tissue. So if you make a small cross section, take any tissue, okay, the skin. Okay, so let us take the skin, and this is the skin. Okay, let us consider this is a skin. Okay, so take the cross section. You will see a small disc-like structure, a small thing. So if you observe under the microscope, this is going to look in this way. Okay, it is going to look in this way, and make sure. And this is stained. Okay, with crystal violet or something. So we have stained, and we can observe the tissue under the microscope in this way. Okay, so this is about the epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue means outer tissue. Okay, so you can see the diagram of the epithelial tissue in this way. So each and every cell, each and everything is a cell. Here you can see each and everything is a cell, and there is a nucleus. In the last classes also we have discussed the nucleus is centered. Okay, the nucleus is centered in the animal tissue. Remember this thing, it may come in the examination. So where the nucleus is centered in animal tissue? The nucleus is centered in the animal tissue, while in case of plant tissue, it is near to the edges. Okay, near to the edges of the cell, the nucleus is present. Okay, in the plant tissue. Okay, so next one is a squamous epithelium. So before we go to the squamous epithelium, the first thing, so make sure if you have any doubts or questions, post it in the live chat section. So after few minutes before the class ends, I will enter a link in the live chat section. So click on the link. That link is nothing but attendance link. So and fill the form and submit. Your attendance will be registered. Okay. So now we will come back to the squamous epithelium. Okay. So what is meant by squamous epithelium? Squamous epithelium is nothing but it is a delicate lining of epithelial tissue. So, and they are involved in the transportation of substances selectively through permeable membrane. So you might have seen the cell. The cell is going to have a membrane. It is selective. So why it is selective? Why? Because it is going to allow only certain molecules through it, not all. So such kind of membranes are made. Such kind of membranes are made from the squamous epithelium. Okay. So next one is a stratified epithelium. Okay. What is stratified epithelium? Stratified squamous epithelium. This tissue is formed by arrangement of epithelial tissue in the form of layers. So let us consider this is a layer cells. These are the epithelial cells in this way. Okay. So what we are saying the layers. Okay. This is above one layer. Okay. So this is above one layer and so on. You can see the layers one by one above the other, one above the other, and one above the other. Such kind of layer arrangement of the tissue, arrangement of epithelial tissue in the form of layers on the skin is known as a stratified squamous epithelium. Okay, what is strata? So you have to understand about what is stratified. So stratified comes from the meaning strata, strata. So what is strata? Strata is nothing but layer by layer. So strata is nothing but layer by layer. So in the same way, these tissue can be found in this way. Okay. So these tissue are also forming layer by layer, and so on. So this is one layer. This is a one layer tissue. Okay. Above this layer, another layer is present. So these layers are looking like how they are looking. They are looking layer by layer. So such kind of layers are known as strata. Okay. So hence we can call this such kind of tissue as stratified squamous epithelium. Okay. So remember, this tissue are formed by the arrangement of epithelial cells in the form of layers on the skin, that is known as stratified squamous epithelium. Okay. So next one will be cuboidal. Okay. So what is meant by cuboidal? The word, the cube. Okay. The cuboidal, it is referring the word cube, cube. Okay. So what is meant by cube? You might have observed in the refrigerator ice box. So ice cubes. So in the ice box you can see ice cubes. So these are the cubes. So how these cells are looking? So the cuboidal epithelial cells are looking like cubes. So these cuboidal epithelial cells, they are going to form the lining of the organs. So lining of the organs are the tubes. Okay, not tubules. This is tubes. Okay, this is a small typing mistake. So tubes of the ureters. Okay, ureters. 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 Okay. So this is ureters. The spelling is ureters. Ureters. Okay. So what these cuboidal epithelial cells are forming? They are forming the lining of the organs. Let us consider this is the kidney. Okay. So the kidney layer, the layer of the kidney is formed from where? So from how it is forming? The layer of the kidney, around the kidney there is a layer. That layer is forming from the cuboidal epithelium cells or cuboidal epithelial cells. So they are going to provide mechanical support. What is meant by mechanical support? It means they are going to protect from the sudden shocks. Sudden shocks, like for example, if you jump from little bit height. Okay. So there will be some mechanical shocks will be produced. Such kind of mechanical shocks, these cuboidal epithelium cells are going to protect. So where you can see around the organs, whether it may be kidney or some other organ, around that you can see. Okay, and also again you can see these cuboidal epithelial cells are present in the lining of the ureters. Okay, in the tubes of the ureters. So what is meant by ureter? So from the kidney you will see a small tube is coming out. So the small tube that is coming out of the kidney, it is known as ureter. So how this lining of the ureter is formed? The lining of the ureter is formed from the cuboidal epithelial tissue. Okay. So if you make a small cross section, if you cut a small section of this tissue and if you observe this under the microscope after staining, you can see such kind of structure. So this is the structure of the cuboidal epithelial cells. So see here, each and every cell is looking like a cube. Okay, each and every cell is looking like a cube. So not exactly cube, almost like a cube. Such kind of cells is known as cuboidal epithelial cells. Okay. So next is the glandular epithelium. So what is meant by glandular epithelium? So remember one thing, if you have any doubts or questions, post it in the live chat section so that I can read and I can answer to your questions or doubts. Okay. So now move to the next topic, that is glandular epithelium. So glandular, first let us understand the word glandular. So the glandular word refers to the gland. Okay. So G-L-A-N-D. What is meant by gland? Gland is nothing but a type of tissue that is involved in the production of some components, that is known as gland. So let us consider this is a skin. Okay, the skin is going to have a small cells. Okay, these small cells are present. These small cells, what they are going to do? They are going to secrete so sweat. Sweat will be secreted from the sweat glands. So now you can understand gland is nothing but a type of tissue. So in this way you can see a type of tissue. So this tissue is going to secrete or produce some substances. They will be involved in the releasing to outside. So such kind of tissue is known as gland. This gland has particular function. Okay. So it means these glands also formed by the epithelium. Okay. So hence we can call it as a glandular epithelium. Okay. So next is some cells forms in the inward. Okay, some cells are going to form inward folding of multicellular glands. So some cells are going to form in this way. This is inward. So this is inward folding. So this inward folding is going to form a gland. So this inward folding is nothing but a gland. This gland is going to produce or release some kind of substance, whether it may be saliva or whether it may be sweat or whether it may be some kind of hormones. So this is about glandular epithelium. Remember, gland is nothing but a type of tissue that is involved in the secretion of some component. Okay. So next is columnar epithelium. So understand the word columnar. So the word columnar refers to the word column. Okay. So word column. So what is meant by column? So column is nothing but any structure that is looking in this way. This is known as column. Okay. So it means these epithelium tissue are going to look like columns. So these tissue are present in the regions of the absorption, secretion, and so on. Example, small intestine. So let us consider this is a small intestine. It is looking like a tube. Okay. So if you observe here closely, how it is going to look like. So it is going to look like in this way. Okay. Okay. It is going to look like in this way. Okay. So in this way you can see. So here you can see small finger-like structures. So these are nothing but villi. So these are villi. How they are formed? They are formed like column-like cells. So they are formed like column-like cells. So this is known as columnar epithelium. Okay, columnar epithelium is nothing but, so these are the tissue present in the regions of absorption. So what is meant by absorption? Absorption is taking in. Okay, the small intestine is going to, the villi of the small intestine is going to take sugars like carbohydrates, okay, vitamins, amino acids, and so on. So they are going to take in. Such kind of taking in is known as absorption. Okay, and also they are going to secrete. So what is meant by secrete? Secrete means they are going to release. Sometimes they are also going to release. Such kind of releasing is known as a secretion. So example, in the small intestine you can see such kind of structures. Okay, and here you can, in this diagram you can see each and every cell is going to look like column. Okay, each and every cell is going to look like column. These cells are known as columnar epithelial cells. Okay, so next is modified epithelial tissue. So what is meant by modified? Modified is nothing but changed, modification. So what is modified? So the word modified refers to the change, okay, the change or modification. So these tissue are changed in some way, okay, they have some kind of changes in it, that is known as modified epithelial tissue. So some structures of the body grow from the epithelial tissue known as modified epithelial tissue. Example, you can see hair, nails, feathers, etc. So these cells, these structures are came from the modified epithelial cells. Example, the skin. Okay, the skin is going to turn into hair. Okay, so the skin is going to turn into nail and so on. So such kind of epithelial cells, when they turn into hair, nails, feathers, etc., so they are known as modified epithelial tissue. Okay, so till now we have completed epithelial tissue. Okay, so now we are going to discuss next topic, that is known as connective tissue. So the word, if you understand the word clearly, connective. So what is meant by connective? Connective is nothing but it has some important role in connecting something, holding something, or keeping something in place. So that is known as connective tissue. So these connective tissue are loosely spaced. It means between the cells, okay, there is some kind of a space. It means there is space between the cells. So hence we can say it as loosely spaced and maintains mainly involved in the transport of various organs. Okay, support, not a transport. So it is support of various organs. It means these tissue are loosely packed and loosely spaced, and mainly they are going to support the various organs. Okay. This tissue supports the organs and muscles. So they are going to support organs and muscles of the body and provides a framework. So what is meant by framework? Framework is nothing but, let us consider this is the heart, okay, the 4 chambers. So heart has the 4 chambers. So this heart is kept how? This heart is kept in position with the help of some kind of tissue. So some kind of tissue, this heart is kept in place. So that is known as, that is the main importance of the connective tissue. Okay. And also this it is also going to help in the defense. So this tissue is also going to help in the defense. What is meant by defense? Defense is nothing but protection from the bacteria, fungus, viruses, etc. It means these tissue also going to help in the protection. It is going to involve in the protection. Next is repair. Let us consider a cell, a tissue is damaged. Here the tissue is damaged. So the damaged tissue will be repaired perfectly. So repaired perfectly with the help of this connective tissue. So next is, it is based on the function. There are different types of the connective tissue. So based on the function, the connective tissue are classified into areolar tissue. Okay, next is adipose tissue, bone tissue, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and also blood cells. So these are the different types of the connective tissue. And till now, if you have any doubts or questions, post it in the live chat section so that I can read and I can answer to your doubts or questions. Okay. So now we will move to the types or classification of the connective tissue. So the first thing is areolar tissue. So the tissue, this type of tissue are mainly found in the joints between the types of tissue, and it is going to keep in the position. These cells are known as the fibroblast. So these fibroblasts are going to secrete a material. So for some important functions, those important functions are nothing but holding tissue. So these fibroblasts, whatever they secrete, whatever the fibrous material they secrete, this fibrous material holding the tissue in position, it is also going to involve in the repairing of the tissue and etc. So these are the main important functions of the fibroblast cells and its secretions. Okay, and in this diagram you can see the cells. Okay, fibroblast cells. Here you can see the fibroblast cells. It is going to produce or secrete a protein known as going to secrete a protein. So that is, protein is helping in the keeping the position. Okay, so a fibrous material. So next is areolar tissue connects the muscles muscle, bones, and also skin, and also it can be seen around the tissue of some blood vessels and nerves. Okay, so we have a question: how many, Divya? How many types of tissue are there? So we are going to discuss those tissue. One is a muscle tissue, next is nervous tissue, connective tissue, and epithelial tissue. These are the four types of the tissue. Okay, so what is the first one? First one is connective. Just now we have discussed connective tissue. Next one is, before the connective tissue, we have discussed a type of tissue that is known as epithelial. Okay, epithelial tissue. Okay, epithelial tissue. Second one is connective tissue, and the third one. So third one is muscular tissue. Okay, so muscles are made. So next one is the fourth one, that is nervous. Okay, that is nervous tissue. So till now, how many we have completed? We have completed epithelial tissue. Now we are discussing the connective tissue. Okay, so connective tissue is in the progress. So after the completion of the connective tissue, we will go to the muscular tissue, and after that we will go to the nervous tissue. Okay, now we are discussing the connective tissue. In the connective tissue, we have completed areolar tissue, and we came to the adipose tissue. Okay. So what is meant by adipose? Before adipose, we have to discuss this point. Areolar tissue connects muscle, bones, and also skin, and can be seen around the tissues of the blood vessels and nerves. So what is meant by blood vessel? Okay, blood vessel is nothing but a tube. Okay, so blood vessel is nothing but a tube. This tube is going to carry blood. Okay, this tube is going to carry blood. So if any tube that carries blood in the body, that tube is known as a blood vessel. That is known as blood vessel. It will carry blood. Okay, so it means areolar tissue is going to connect bones, skin, and also it will be such kind of areolar tissue can be seen around the tissue of blood vessels and also nerves. Nerves are nothing but these are the cells that involve in the transmission. Okay, transmission of information. Okay, transmission of information. So this is the importance of the nerves. We will discuss about this nervous tissue after a moment, or in the next class we will discuss about this nervous tissue. Okay. So next one is the adipose tissue. What is meant by adipose tissue? Adipose tissue is nothing but these are the cells. There are adipose cells. Okay, there are some kind of cells. They are known as adipose cells. Okay, so these adipose cells are going to take fat molecules. So they will take fat. Okay, so when they take fat, what happens? So they are going to take the fat globules. Okay, they are going to take fat globules. So when they take fat globules, what happens? The cells is filled with fat. So all these cells aggregate to form a tissue. Okay, they are going to form a tissue. So what is? So is tissue had main role in the body? Divya has a doubt, that is tissue had main role in the body? Yes, the tissue has main role in the body. For example, if you are walking somewhere, okay, so what is required for walking? Muscles are required. Okay, muscles and also plus bones. These are very, very important. It means you can see the muscles are nothing but these are a tissue, muscle tissue. Next, bones are formed from the bone tissue, and so on. So in the body, each and every tissue is important. Okay, brain tissue is important for thinking. Okay, eye tissue is important for the seeing. Muscle tissue is important for the locomotion. That is nothing but movement from one position to another position. Okay, so this is the importance. So here these adipose tissue are going to store fat below the skin, and also between the organs they are going to store the fat, and also they are acting as insulators. So what is meant by insulator? Insulator is nothing but when the fat is stored under the skin. Okay, so this is the fat cells, so this is the skin. So what happens? So the heat, the cold, okay, the cold temperature cannot pass through it, and it is going to act as a barrier. Hence you can feel a little bit warmer if you have more amount of fat under the skin. So this is one of the advantage. So this is known as adipose tissue. Remember, adipose tissue is nothing but it is a type of tissue mainly involved in the storing of fat. So next is bone tissue. So bones are the framework. They are going to provide the framework for the body, and they are going to support body for the major component. So it is these bones are nothing. These bones are the major component of the skeletal system. Skeletal system is nothing but the bones, the different types of bones in the animal body that forms the skeletal system or skeletal system. So bone is made up of calcium phosphate and also calcium carbonates, which are secreted by the osteocytes. Remember, osteocytes are the bone cells. These bone cells are going to secrete, means they are going to release. It means they are made up of calcium phosphate and also calcium carbonate. They are some kind of important minerals. Okay. So this is a bone, and inside the bone you can see in this way. In this way you can see inside the bone. Okay. So these are the osteocytes. So these osteocytes you can see under the microscope. So next one is the cartilage. So it is not as hard as the bone. So bone is hard. Okay, the bone is hard, but cartilage is not as much harder as cartilage. It means cartilage is not as much hard as bone. So it means bone is harder, cartilage is not harder. Okay, cartilage is not harder. So but it has a little bit of strength. Okay, so these cartilage can be seen between the bones. Let us consider. So this is a bone. So here between the bones you can see cartilage. So this is a cartilage. The cartilage is present between the bones. So mainly these bones are present in the bone tip, okay, ribs, nose tip, ears, and so on. You can touch your nose. Nose is a little bit softer. Your tip of the nose is softer. Why? Because it is going to contain cartilage. The ear is also smooth. Why? Because it is going to have the cartilage. Okay, and some fishes also have the cartilage. So your entire body is made up of cartilage when you are in the form of embryo, or when you are in the form of a fetus inside the mother's womb. When you are in the mother's womb, your skeletal system is made up of complete cartilage. Okay. So animals also contains Divya, animals also contains tissue. Okay, human beings contains tissue, animals contains tissue, plants also going to contain tissue, but plant tissue is different, animal tissue is different. Okay, so this is cartilage that you can see between the bones. Between the bones you can see white color layer. That white color layer is nothing but cartilage. Next one is the ligaments. Ligaments is made up of large number of fibers, that is collagen fiber. Collagen fiber is elastic protein. So elastic protein fiber that is present here. Okay, that is present between the bones. So between the two bones, okay, let us consider this is a bone and also this is a bone. Between the bones, the ligaments are present. Okay, it means the bones are joined by the ligaments. So here the tendons. So this is a bone and muscle. Bone and muscle is connected with tendons. This is known as tendons. So remember, ligaments are nothing but a protein made up of collagen joining. It is going to join the two bones together, and the tendons are a tissue that is made up of collagen. It is going to join bones and muscles. Okay, the bone and muscle. Okay. So next is the blood cells. So we will discuss about the blood cells in the coming lecture. So now I will paste a link for the attendance. Okay, and wait for a minute. I will paste a link. And till then, if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section. If you have any doubts or any questions, you can ask me in the comment section. Okay. and here the link is given. Click on the link and click enter your name. Okay, so after that enter your school name, select your school, and also enter your class, and if you have any feedback, enter the feedback. After that, click on the submit button. Okay, so here the form is given. Okay, so click on the form, and this form will be disabled. It means it will deactivate after 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so it means maximum it will be for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes it will be disabled. Okay, and if you have any doubts or questions, you can ask me now. Okay, then we will discuss the next topic in the next class.